Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Paul Allen, your play-by-play voice, and we welcome you to the beautiful TCO studios for Vikings GamePlan. It's Ron Johnson from Fox 9's Vikings Game Day Live and a fellow analyst, Pete Bercich, the commentator and analyst for the Vikings Radio Network. Gentlemen, let's begin with some matchup mashing between the Vikings and the winless Atlanta Falcons. What jumps out?
When I look at the matchup numbers, the fact that they are +1 in the turnovers and they're losing games still. Matt Ryan's only thrown 3 interceptions. So he's not having, he only thrown 7 touchdowns. But the fact that they have a +1 turnover differential, but they're still losing these games, especially Dallas. We all remember that 39-40. Onside kick. I'm hoping they worked on that. I hope they didn't actually, because we want the Vikings to be able to get an onside kick if we need it. But that's the one thing that kind of jumps out at me. Then also when you look at their defense, that's why. 335 yards in the air. This is a game where the Vikings receivers can eat on the field.
From 1-4, where they are right now, what do you guys think of the 2020 Vikings?
Well, I think overall, Paul, it's disappointing to be where we are. I think defensively, what needs to change and has been changing are the big plays on the defensive side, uncontested receivers running down the field, and we've stopped giving up those huge explosive passing plays. Offensively, we know what formula works. It's Dalvin Cook, Kirk Cousins, Adam Thielen, Jefferson. We know that works, but we have to have a little bit more balance. I just don't think we can continue to give Dalvin Cook 150 to 180 yards per game. He's not going to last the last 10 games of the season. So put him on a pitch count and let's go from there. Quit turning the ball over, please, and we'll be fine.
And Ron, patience are required here. Whether people like it or not, with like Gladney and Dantzler and Samia at right guard. And, even Justin Jefferson had those 2 huge games, but patience required.
Yeah, when we were at home doing the very first show, I said the Vikings would be 10-6. I think they still have a chance. And this is why. If you're in the stock market, this is the time to buy the Vikings. Why? Because they're at a point where it's going to go up. We saw what this offense could be. We saw how good this defense can be against one of the top offenses in the NFL and the NFL MVP quarterback, Mike Zimmer's defense that I've said over and over again. Cover 2, keep your safeties back. It worked. So I think Mike Zimmer is going to build from that, realizing, you know what, my corners are young, but they're good, but they do need Harrison Smith and Ant Harris back. So yes, patience is required with that young group, but this is a time to buy the Vikings stock now because I think they have a chance to keep going up.
And Ron mentioned the name Mike Zimmer, head coach of the Minnesota Vikings. Alexander Mattison is going to have a heavy workload this weekend. Alexander's in his 2nd year from Boise State. Recently, on our KFAN radio show X's and O's, I asked Mike about Alexander year 2.
The biggest thing for these guys is concepts in the passing game, whether it be routes or whether it be protections. And so I think he just has a much better feel for all those things. He's able to see the different exotic blitzes and pick up those guys extremely well.
Yeah, when you look at Alexander Mattison, when Dalvin Cook went out, I think everybody was holding their breath. He didn't drop a beat. Alexander Mattison, what I noticed in this game coming in, 1, he read his blocks. 2, he hit the hole hard. And 3, he wasn't just going to go down after first contact. That showed that he has big playability as well. And every touch going forward is just going to give him more and more confidence, because at this point, I think him and Dalvin Cook are going to go 50-50 in some of these carries, because you don't want to overexert Dalvin Cook too early in the season, and you want to try to get him all the way to week 16, 17 healthy, and that's going to be the way. Alexander Mattison has to become your bell cow to an extent.
And Peter, you're old school, you played and coached. So when a team has a powerhouse running game and plays good defense, that's preferred for you, right? To advance and get to the playoffs.
No, exactly right. I think that's how you're built for long-term success. And what's interesting about the running game is it's been so good, but it's not what we thought it was going to be. It's not an outside stretch zone. We're pulling guards. I think our guards run block well. They're best suited for that. I think we're across the board, offensive line-wise, best suited for that. But we're pulling guards. We're using misdirection. The tight ends, both Irv Smith and Kyle Rudolph, are blocking better. They're getting better every single week. That combination makes our running game, pretty deadly. It's just the added explosiveness that we can get with Dalvin Cook that we hope we can get out of Mattison over the next couple weeks.